All right, well, we finished the C-pillar repair. Fixed the roof, fixed the C-pillar, fixed the window, package tray, trunk, whole 9 yards. This is part 2 of a 2-part video series, so if you want to see how we completed this one from the last round, stick around. Good morning. All right. So last week when I left off, I was working on the C-pillar, and the last video goes on ad nauseum, and when I edited that video, it was very, very long. It was hard to filter out things, so I'm going to try to be a little less long-winded, a little more short. So going through all that, where I left off was I realized I had to remove the package tray and deal with the trunk hinge before I finished buttoning up this windshield area, this rear window area. So I had already cut out, I made last week, I made a piece for the package tray, just this little flat piece, and I put that in there, and then I slowly started working on making the gutter, and that was quite a trick, but I learned a lot as I was making it, and I used a lot of paper templates. It took a lot of trial and fit, but I ended up figuring out how I was going to do this. So this piece is all made. This is the rear tray with the gutter and a lip that goes on the window flange. This goes over the trunk hinge, and it fits in like this. So that's not quite fully set in. It fits in better. Then the window flange, which I haven't yet trimmed to exact width, will go on top of that. So this will spot weld down to that flange. That flange will weld into the body. So when this is all done, that'll button that up, and that'll get the package tray, the gutter, the window flange, and everything at the C-pillar area, that'll get that all taken care of. So the other thing that I did was, I said last week, was I said that, all right, having this all off was going to give me access to the wheel well, and that would be the best time to repair it. So I did that. I've already done it. I didn't take any videos of it, but I'll show you what how I'm progressing with it. All right, so there's the C-pillar area. Now we come into the trunk underneath it. And that's what I made towards the end of last week. After I shut down the videos, I made a curved panel to patch the wheel well, and then I made a bracket to replace the corroded bracket there, and it's supposed to match that bracket. So that's a factory bracket. That's my fabricated bracket, and it's a bit gnarly, but it'll clean up well with a little bit of filler. It was very difficult. It's got a lot of little curves and tight little corners that you can't get a grinding wheel in to smooth out. So the other thing that was an issue was welding this. So welding this piece into the wheel well, I didn't have good access to the top. So I was able to weld it, but I wasn't able to really grind it, because when you grab the grinder gets in here, and you can't turn the grinder to get at that, and then even when I come at it from the top, it's the same thing. So it's going to always be a little bit gnarly in here. But that's okay, because what I'll do is, when I get into this trunk, I need to replace the trunk pan, I'll go ahead and put a little bit of filler in there, and it'll smooth it out. And after all, it's the trunk. It's not like it's the outside of the car where everybody's gonna be staring at it. So let me show you what that looks like from the top. And there it is. So I tried to replicate it as best I could, and I think I did okay. So it'll pass. It's in the trunk. Most of the time, nobody's gonna see it. It's gonna be a rarity for anybody to see it, so it doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm very satisfied with it. So one thing I'm excited about this week is there's going to be a measurable improvement to my welding. I've been doing everything so far with .035 flux core wire. The flux core wire uses the flux inside of the wire as a means of creating a shielding gas to shield the molten metal from oxygen, so it doesn't spatter and have porosity. You can also weld with wire, solid wire, provided you have a shielding gas. So I saw a video last week by Fitzy's Fabrications, and if you haven't checked out his channel, it's incredible, it's amazing. I've learned a ton of stuff from him in just a couple of months, and it's really just blown my mind how much it's elevated my game. So I've been welding with .035 wire, and this is flux core. This is .023 solid core wire. Even though this has about the same amount of metal, this has a flux in it, and the flux somehow it changes the heat. You also weld with a different polarity. You have to flip the positive and the negative to go from flux core to solid wire with a shielding gas. But it makes all the difference in the world in these welds. These welds are, I touched up, I came back with a second pass on the fender, and it just, I had no problems with blow through. It built up, it didn't warp, it was less heat, it was no porosity. I didn't have all the problems I've been dealing with. I'm so excited to do this. It's gonna be amazing. So now I've welded this, the second pass with solid wire. I've got my rig set up with an argon CO2 mix, and I'm ready to go at it. That's what I was welding with last night. I was making the panel here. I was making this last night with the new setup, and these are the first welds that I've tried with it. And I'm amazed. It's like suddenly I'm a much better welder. So I'm looking forward to this. All right, so I've got my package tray made. I'm pretty pleased with it. It's got the gutter. I did without the low point and the little tube that's going to drain. I'm going to maintain this car in some manner other than the way I guess they intended them to be disposable in the 1950s, so I'm not going to let this back glass leak. And if it does, it'll go in that tray, and believe me, I'll notice it. So no need to let it be neglected. But there it is. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and slip it in place, set it up, weld it, and we'll be one step closer. Here we go. So I've got the packet tray fit in, grinded down to this surface. So this is going to give me a little bit of meat to create this little groove. By the time I put the flange piece on, it'll build up 2 layers. I'll put a bead in here, and I'll be able to grind out and carve that little bead, and I think that'll finish it off. I also have to take this back off. Before I take it off, I need to grind the edge flush, get it shaped in, and then I can cut it in, weld it in, and be done with that. So we're getting close. We're getting close. That's a piece I had fitted up there, and starting to cut it out. So that'll be, it was sitting on top, now it's going to be sitting in the plane that it needs to be in once I get the metal out of the way. So once I get the metal out of the way, I'll put that in place. We'll weld a bead in here, grind out that groove, finish the small little touch-ups, grind it, smooth it, and be done. So we're at the home stretch now. Here we go. All right, it is fitted in, welded. Still don't have anything going on over here yet. Not quite sure yet, but it's all blended in with the upper part, in with the roof. C-pillar, that piece came out really nice. Still got a few pinholes in here to take care of. I had some fitment issues over here. There's some original body lead here that kind of got in the way as I was welding, and So anyway, I'm still working on this, but I mean, you can see there it is. So the gutter's repaired. So we can go all the way in the car. See what's going on here. So this was all repaired all down the C-pillar, all the way down. On the interior, the package tray, gutter, window flange. But anyway, there it is. But I'll tell you what, I'm exhausted. I've got to go inside and get something to eat. And I'll come back out here and finish this afternoon. But I don't have a whole lot of wind left in my sails, man. I am exhausted. It's like 4 billion degrees hot outside. And I don't know, 10,000% humidity. So, but we'll get it done. I'll get it done this afternoon, and then we'll see what the next part that we're going to tackle will be. Looking forward to doing something different other than this C-pillar. But anyway, see you in a little bit. Hey, do you know of somebody who insists on doing everything themselves? That's this guy. Maybe that looks like you. That's going to be me with Christine with this 1956 Bel Air. I've had her since 2005, and now I'm underway with this restoration, and I'm going bumper to bumper, doing everything myself. I will be doing all the work on it, all the body work, all the painting, interior, motor, transmission, trim, wiring, you name it. We're doing everything with my own hands, and you guys are going to be along for the ride. You can laugh and cry with me. I appreciate every moment of your time you spend sharing it with me, watching this channel. Thanks a lot. Appreciate the support. One last look before we prime it. There it is. Got that little bead in there, a little groove. That is a pain in the foot. It's really hard. And you know what's really sad? All of this stuff is covered by stainless steel. You're never going to see most of this. So, I mean, the whole thing is to get it within a 1/16 to an 1/8 of original. That way we can use a limited amount of body filler, not so much that the car would want to be changed its name from Christine to Bondo Betty. It's not what we want, but it is going to have a skim coat of Bondo or body filler. I'm not going to use Bondo brand. I'm going to use a much better product, but a skim coat over the whole thing, and that's going to really smooth everything out. So, but I'm going to let you look at this one last time before I go ahead and grab a can of primer, and I'm going to prime it, and let's see what it looks like. And there it is. Ta-da! Well, I'll tell you what, the primer, you put the primer on it, it hides so much. You know, the discoloration makes the welding look worse than it is. I mean, there you go, you know. Looks good, you know. Really pleased with the seams. Pleased with that little groove. Pleased with the window flange. Pleased with how the whole C-pillar blends. It just looks, to me, you know, it just looks right. So I know this is still this still needs work, but this is the body seam. You know, this is normally like this. So I didn't want to weld in all that. It's lead all the way down to here. But there it is. I'm incredibly pleased with it. Well, there you have it. Another one in the books. So, do appreciate the time you spend watching my channel. If you do like the channel, please subscribe. And if you like the videos, please give me a thumbs up. I know you have a lot of choices to watch, whatever videos you can want to watch. And you know, I'm flattered that you want to spend time watching my stuff. So, but anyway, I do appreciate your time. I really thank each and every one of you. Appreciate the comments, the well wishes, the encouragement. So believe me, it's going to take a lot of encouragement. I keep saying that because it's like this is a journey, and I'm by myself. So anyway, thanks again for watching. Appreciate your time. Cheers.